Hi guys, this is Mrs. Sanford here, and what we want to do this week for your Access lesson is walk you through and talk to you a little bit about the Parcc testing that you're going to be taking pretty soon here. And most of you are going to be taking both the math and the English tests, but some of you might just be taking one or the other. So the test is going to be strictly online, so it's going to look a little different than some of the other standardized tests that you've taken. So there's a couple different tools and a couple different things that you need to know before you sit down and take those tests. So before I show you those tools, I want you guys to keep in mind that there's sometimes some people that are very negative about this Parcc test, and some people that might say that it doesn't matter, but what I'd like to tell you today is that as with any test, your name is going to be attached to it, and we want you just to give it the best that you can. You will get your test results for this test, and you want to use it as a way to see where your skills are. And any time that you can see where you're at and how you're going to grow in the future, I think can be really, really helpful. So no matter what, you're going to have to sit in a room for a certain number of hours, and instead of just sitting there doing nothing, you might as well just make the most of it and maybe learn something from the test. So please give it your all and please try your best with it. So what we're going to have you do is go to this website that's attached to your Google Classroom, and it's going to bring you to some practice tests. The first one I want to walk through with you is the math test. And if you scroll down here, go to Algebra 1, you'll see there's a computer-based practice test. So click on, it doesn't matter which one you click on. I'm going to click on practice number 1. And you're just going to sign in as a guest. And, oh, I want to remind you that you have to be an Internet Explorer. For some reason, it doesn't really like Chrome. So if it's not working on your Chrome, then just switch to Internet Explorer. So this is what some of the test questions will look like. Some of them are just multiple choice, pretty easy to pick which one. But I wanted to show you some of the tools that you'll see. If you go to this right here, you can bookmark certain questions if you want to come back to it. That's here. So you can bookmark this question, come back to it later. You can eliminate some of the answer choices. So if you know that it's not A or B, you can kind of do like you would for a paper test and cross things out. You can, let's see, what else can we do? You can have a magnifier. So if you want to zoom in on things, you have a magnifier there. What else do you have? You have a line reader, so if it's too much for you to look at everything, and this is mostly for maybe the reading test, but you can kind of zoom in on a certain section of the question if it's too overwhelming to look at everything. That's what that line reader tool is. I'm going to get rid of this. And then answer masking is if you want to not see all of the questions, if you just kind of want to take them one by one. You can do answer masking. So those are some of the tools that you might see here. You can change the background color if there's something that's easier for you to read. So lots of different tools to look at for the math test. Let me see if I can get rid of some of these things. So again, if you don't want them, you can get rid of them, change back the color. So those are some of your things to look at. I'm going to go to the next question. So some of the questions look a little differently. This is a graphing question. So you can play around with what those things are going to look like and how you're going to have to move things around differently on different types of questions. So that's a graphing question. Let me see if I can get to one where you have to type one in. So sometimes you're going to have to type in the answer to the question. With this one, it's not a multiple choice. And that's just to kind of give you some idea of what the math test will look like. So I'm going to go back and show you some of the things that you can do for the English test. So if you click on English up here, scroll down to grade 9. And then you'll see some practice tests. Sign in as a guest. And this is what your English test will look like. So same types of tools. You have your bookmark tool. This time you have a notepad, so if you want to write yourself some notes or you want to annotate, you can use the notepad. Again, you have the answer eliminator just like we did with the math test. You can get rid of things. And then same thing, this is where the line reader might come in handy. If the passage is just super overwhelming, you want to take it a little bit at a time, you can use that line reader. You also have some annotation capabilities here. So you have, let me see, oops. Try to get rid of that. So if I click on here, I can highlight things, and then this pops up. I can either underline things, I can highlight it in different colors. So I think those are great tools to make it feel more like a paper test than an online test. So feel like you can mark this up as much as you need to. Some of the passages are fairly long, so I would prepare yourself for that. And you might want to just kind of skim and highlight things that you think are important. And then maybe read the questions first so you know exactly what you're looking for before you start reading the entire passage. You guys will have extra time on this if you need it, but those are just some tips to help you get through some of these longer passages. Okay, so lots of different readings. Sometimes you have to put in different elements of the story here. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to just play around with some of the practice tests. Please go to that website and at least get into here and play around with either the math or the English test. So hopefully that helps give you a little preview of what to expect when you get into the Parcc test. And please just try your best and make the most of the time that you have to be in that testing room anyway. Okay? All right, good luck to you guys.